Every learner is unique. It means to say, no two learners are alike in intelligence, interest, and talents. Learners are persons with individual personality, learning style, family, and cultural background. As a K to 3 educators, our goal is to bring children to their full potential mentally, socially, emotionally, and physically. We have embraced different practices to reach this goal. This time, let us learn one of these practices, the developmentally appropriate practices, or DAP.
I will present to you the slides of Dr. Jocelyn S. Tuginayo, Supervising Education Program Specialist, Department of Education Central Office, about developmentally appropriate practices, or DAP. At the end of the session, the participants should be able to understand the concept of DAP, realize the importance of DAP, and the third one is to identify implications of DAP for K to 3 learners. What is DAP? DAP is an approach to teaching that is grounded on research on child development and learning, which seeks to promote optimal learning and development. It involves teachers meeting young children where they are, both as individual and as part of a group, and helping each child meet challenging and achievable learning goals. It assesses the capability of each learner, how they interact socially, and help each of them learn from the activities which are achievable. DAP is an understanding about child's development, the role of families, relationship and culture, and how children learn best. DAP has 3 core considerations, and these 3 are interrelated with each other. The first one we have age appropriateness. Next we have individual appropriateness. And the last one is the socio-cultural appropriateness. What is age appropriateness? This refers to the fact that there are recognizable, predictable sequences of growth and changes in human development from infancy up to adulthood. These predictable changes take place in terms of all aspects of human development, such as physical, emotional, psychosocial, and cognitive. So teachers must be knowledgeable about what is known on child development and learning knowledge of age-related human characteristics that permit general predictions within an age range about what activities, materials, interactions, or experiences will be safe, healthy, interesting, achievable, and also challenging to children. It means to say, all the activities and materials should be anchored to child individual age, strength, and interest so that learning will take place successfully. Next, we have individual appropriateness. This is based on the recognition of the child as a unique person with an individual pattern and pace of growth. The child is an individual with his or her own personality, learning style, family, and cultural background. As teachers, we need to know about the strength, interest, and needs of each child to be able to adapt and to be responsive to variations in rate of development. Here, we have to know the uniqueness of each learner that we have for them to be able to cope with learnings, and so that no learner will be left behind. The last one is the socio-cultural appropriateness. This is based on the recognition that children live within a social and cultural context and that their needs need to be addressed in relation to this. Teachers need to provide learning experiences which are meaningful, relevant, and respectful to the students and to their families. The resources are relevant to the learners and appropriate according to the different families they come from and the community they live in. This time, we're going to discuss the principles of DAP. The first one is all domains or areas of development and learning are important. These include physical, social, emotional, cognitive, language, and communication domains. What happens in one domain affects the others. So, DAP deals with the holistic development of the learners. All the domains play vital role on how learners learn. The second one is many parts of children's learning and development follow predictable sequences, as what I have said a while ago, that have been recorded. Skills, knowledge, and abilities that children have become the foundation of later learning. So the developmentally appropriate practices make sure that the curriculum is anchored to the stages of child's development. The third principle is development and learning happen at different rates from child to child. Also, within a particular child, there is an uneven rates of development in different domains. So we have to consider here the individual appropriateness, that every child is unique. Each learner has their own pace of learning and development. So activities must be relevant and achievable to each of them. The fourth principle is within each child, there is an ongoing interaction between what the child is born with and what experiences that he or she has. We cannot teach something which our learners do not have any prior knowledge about it. That is the reason why we localized and contextualized our lesson so that our learners can interact actively. Next, the experiences that a child has in early life, be they good or bad, have later effects on development and learning. Exposing K-3 learners to reach variety of experiences and ideas to explore and investigate that are worthy of their attention. These will give children opportunities to make meaningful choices and time to explore through active involvement. Activities must be suited to their learning needs, because once children's learning experiences are not suited to their learning needs, it can cause great harm. It can leave children feeling inadequate, anxious, and confused. The next principle is Development goes from simple to complex in all domains or areas of learning. In teaching children, we start from the basic to difficult concept that requires higher order thinking skills. Teachers must also scaffold the lessons from kindergarten to grade 3. Children develop best when they feel warm and secure in relationships with adults who take notice of them. They also need time for happy relationships with other children. So play and praise are important in this principle. Parents, teachers, and community members must respect, value, and treat children with dignity. The next principle is children grow and learn in a number of social and cultural contexts such as family, community, religion, and school. In order to make developmentally appropriate decisions for children, we must know them as individuals and as members of their families and their communities, whatever cultural context and religions they have. Parents must be viewed as partners in supporting children's development. Strengthening home-school partnerships must be an important feature of an educational program. Good relationship with families communicate respect and team effort. Let us proceed to number 9. Children are always active in their minds and trying to understand the world. They also learn in many different ways. Therefore, a wide variety of teaching approaches and ways of being together are best for learning. Activities that help children to create new ideas and explore their imagination are needed. Number 10, play provides an important way of building thinking, language, and most importantly, social skills. We all know that play allows children to use their creativity while developing their imagination, dexterity, and physical, cognitive, and emotional strength. It is also important to healthy brain development. And through play, children at a very young age engage and interact in the world around them. Development and learning happen best when children have a challenge that is just beyond where their skills are. They also need a time and place to practice these new skills. Again, play is good for them. Encourage, support, and guide children to learn and develop the new skills and to go beyond their capabilities. And the last one we have, what children experience at home and in school affects how they think and feel about learning. Happy, challenging, and successful experiences make for good feelings and ideas about learning. So we need to provide opportunities for children to play and work together, talk to one another, problem solve together, make plans, and execute them. And let us celebrate with children for what they can do. Take pride in their achievements. Give each one a chance to discover their strength and talents. Remember that everyone can be smart in different ways. Here are the guidelines for DAP. First is to create a caring community of learners. In developmentally appropriate practices, occur within a context of relationships between adults and children, among children, among teachers, and between teachers and families. How we interact with children shapes how they approach others, how they feel about themselves, and how they develop and learn. Our expectations for children's behavior also affect them. The next we have to teach to enhance development and learning. Playful and hands-on experiences with materials and natural world and engaging caring adults balance between self-initiated and adult-guided. Scaffolding of learning enable children to perform tasks beyond the level of independent functioning. The third one is plan or construct appropriate curriculum. DAP curriculum provides all areas of children's development. And what are those areas? Physical, emotional, social, linguistic, aesthetic, and cognitive. We have to choose curriculum strategies that do not demand much of the wrong thing and too little of the right thing. Next, assess children's development and learning. DAP programs assess in order to monitor children's development and learning, guide planning and decision making, identify children who might benefit from special services or supports, and report and communicate with others. The last one is develop or share mutual relationships with families. In order to make developmentally appropriate decisions for children, we must know them as individuals and as members of their families and their communities. Parents must be viewed as partners in supporting children's development. In a developmentally appropriate classroom, children are expected to create their own work, move and do, attempt to solve their own problems, children's problems, speak actively, explore their interests, and explore and investigate. Make choices rather than just being told. Make own lines rather than following what the teachers have told to do. Write their own books. Create art rather than do pre-planned crafts. Design. Learn through experiences. Appreciate the process, not just the end product. Or it means to say, you have to appreciate the step-by-step procedures in making an output. Ask questions. Then, of course, you have to figure out the answers. Learn and use skills that are interesting and meaningful. Have a schedule. Of course, this is based on their needs, not the needs of the adults or the program itself. This is adopted from The Butterfly Garden by Sandra Kosser. Effective DAP teaching strategies. Acknowledge what children do or say. A simple thank you, praising of what they have done are already positive feedback to children. Encourage children to do better and improve more. Do not just praise and evaluate their work. Next is to give specific feedback rather than general comments, so that next time when children do their work, they can already improve it. Next is model attitudes, ways of approaching problems, and behavior towards others. Demonstrate the correct way to do something. Actually, this is usually involved in a procedure that needs to be done in a certain way. Create or add challenge so that a task goes a bit beyond what the children can already do. Ask questions to provoke children's thinking and analysis. Give assistance to help children work onto the edge of their current competence. Provide information, giving verbal labels and other information for the task or for their work. The last, give directions for children's actions or behavior so that children can use their listening skills. Another effective DAP teaching strategy is the differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction is very useful, most especially in dealing with learners with multiple intelligences. Tailoring of instruction to meet individual needs, learning style, interest, and abilities. Let us identify the implications of DAP for K-3 learners. Serious investment in capacity building activities will include continuing study of child development and learning in addition to curriculum development. We have to take note that inappropriate approaches to early childhood education, especially when combined with ineffective teaching and inappropriate curriculum in primary grades, will be even more damaging than not having access to preschool education. May I remind you for the second time, when children's learning experiences are not suited to their learning needs, it can cause great damage or harm. It can leave children feeling inadequate, anxious, and confused. So, curriculum should be appropriate to children's needs, strengths, interests, and abilities to bring out the best for them. Next is set up resource schools or schools with model K-3 classes that demonstrate best practices in early childhood and primary education. Example, developmentally appropriate, culturally and contextually appropriate, as well as effective program management and processes of supervision by school heads and division educational supervisors. The next one is systematic effort to improve the primary school curriculum from grades 1 to grade 3 to ensure that appropriate scope, coverage, materials, and teaching approaches and methods are truly effective for children ages 6 to 8. Increase physical activity. We know that physical action is essential to refine developing skills. Expressing newly acquired physical power and control enhances self-confidence. Physical activity is vital for cognitive growth. Children need physical action to help them grasp more abstract concepts like place value and fractions in mathematics. Provide more opportunities for cooperative small group projects and activities. These include activities that provide rich content of conversations, opportunities for shared exploration, investigation, and discovery, opportunities for planning, negotiating, problem solving, and evaluating. So we can use this in different areas of learning. Another implication is provide a wide range of concrete materials from open-ended ones like blocks, Play-Doh, sand, construction toys like puzzles, board games, and card games, which children can explore, investigate, and think about. Hands-on experiences of these materials help in attaining learning goals or objectives. Involving children in establishing and enforcing few basic rules which children need to follow are necessary for harmonious group life and more constructive ways of resolving conflicts. This can also develop a good behavior to children, like respect, obedience, humility, and cooperation. Curriculum and teaching methods must enable children to acquire not only skills and knowledge, but also the disposition or inclination to use these in their daily lives. Essential dispositions towards learning and school, such as curiosity, humor, helpfulness, and persistence. Use positive approaches to help children learn appropriate behavior through employing positive discipline anchored on basic respect for children and consideration of children's developmental characteristics. Role-playing activity about problem situations is also important. Another implication is to revisit and redefine all national policies, department orders and memos, and school-level interpretations of such policies in order to update and reconcile with effective and developmentally appropriate practices. In DAP, the teacher gives the children time to explore their hand and motor skills. Children are given opportunities to manipulate objects, to create, and to learn from their own experiences. They had given time to build and to make something out of the given manipulatives. In the next picture, the teacher sees to it that everybody has the opportunity to react in storytelling time. Do you know that storytelling is the best avenue for teachers to let the children react freely? Through storytelling, children learn how to pay attention and listen actively to the person talking or to the teacher. It can teach young kids or children so many things about the world and life. It gives them plenty of opportunities to learn wonderful ideas and things they had never encountered before. And this is also very effective once we are teaching children with multiple intelligences. Example, visual learners appreciate the mental picture storytelling evokes. Auditory learners focus on the words and the storyteller's voice, while the kinesthetic learners remember the emotional connection and feelings from the story. So those are the importance or benefits of storytelling, most especially in teaching young kids or children. The teacher structures the classroom in a conducive place for learning. As we can see on the pictures, the arrangement or structures show equal importance. Why? Because each learner is equally important. Each of them must be given equal amount of space and possession in any directions. Tables and chairs are set to interact with each other, and the teacher can roam around and move freely to check learners' work and task. Activities were given to manipulate things. Most activities in DAP are play-based, so that learners can manipulate, use their imagination and creativity, and most importantly, they can develop their social skills. Activities given to learners or children are mostly manipulatives. Effective K-3 teachers must understand what is typical at each age and stage of child's development, while also being aware that each child is different. They get to know each of them individually so that they can build on their prior knowledge, skills, developmental level, and interest to address the full range of abilities each child or each learner brings to the learning environment. And to provide developmentally appropriate instruction, we should understand how the K-3 learners typically behave and think. And of course, we should recognize that each child has different strength and development.
Before I end, allow me to share with you what Benjamin Franklin had said. Show me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Again, this is Karen May D. Lauro, your DAP presenter. Padayon kita sa aton kausa, bisan may pandemya.